Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany Papageorge and I am the author of My Yellow Balloon and Mi Globo Amarillo. And I am so excited to be with you today on Children's Grief Awareness Day. I love this day and I am excited to be with you virtually this year. I've been able to be at Highmark Caring Place on Children's Grief Awareness Day in the past in person, which was awesome, and I can't wait till we're that way again. But this year, one of the silver linings of COVID-19 is that we get to be together even if we're not together. A lot of people ask me what inspired me to write My Yellow Balloon. And it's a really funny story because My Yellow Balloon didn't come out of an inspiration per se. It came originally from an assignment by my 9th grade English teacher, Ms. Cannon. And Ms. Cannon was really amazing because she taught us to look at literature through the eyes of grief. And by doing so, it helped me as a grieving child way back when to process, to be able to talk about my grief in a way that was a little bit more safe behind these other characters. You know, we didn't have a Highmark Caring Place back then, and I wish we would have, because to be able to be in presence of other kids that are hurting and experiencing grief like I was, that really would have been something to be in community. But we didn't have that. So this was the next best thing. And so she asked us to do an assignment. And of many things on this list, the last one on the list was write a children's book explaining death to them. And that was the one I chose on the list. And ironically, I was the only person who chose that assignment. So I went home and I wasn't thinking about my assignment. Have you ever procrastinated on an assignment? Because I did. And so I was playing with my little brother Joey, and we were playing cars on his floor, and I had this daydream. It was what I call a mind movie because it was much more than just a daydream. And I saw almost the entire story of My Yellow Balloon play out. And I knew it was special because I had goosebumps all over my body. So I grabbed Joey, I put him in a high chair, I gave him a cookie, and I wrote my story. And that was the inspiration of My Yellow Balloon. The inspiration for the character in My Yellow Balloon for Joey was my little brother Joey. And now you know that. So today I have with me the original assignment of My Yellow Balloon. And what you don't see on this little journal was the little felt letters that used to say My Yellow Balloon. Those have fallen off. And I also want to call your attention to that it is just a little journal book that I turned into my assignment. You'll notice how soft the cover is, and there's a reason for that. Because I knew as a grieving child that when you're grieving, everything feels too hard or too bright or too harsh, too sharp, too loud. So I wanted My Yellow Balloon to feel really soft to the hands and to the touch and be comforting. Now I'm going to show you a couple pages of My Yellow Balloon, the original, and you'll notice something. It's kind of sad, you guys. It is falling apart, completely falling apart. I've glued it I don't know how many times. And you'll see in it that there's like almost like this brown stuff that comes from behind it. That is the old rubber cement that's coming through. And now that you've seen the pictures, you know why I'm not the illustrator. What is my best story about how My Yellow Balloon has helped someone on their grief journey? There are so many stories. This one is so hard for me to put into just one. One of them was that I ran into a young woman who had experienced My Yellow Balloon in her school. And when I had come in and done my author presentation and was with the kids that day. She had never experienced any loss. And she went home that afternoon and was explaining to her mom who had come and what the assembly was about and all this stuff. And she told me that just after dinner that night, the phone rang. And someone extremely close to her had gotten in a car accident and died that day. And she immediately said, "Mom, we've got to get this book." And as she was telling me the story, and now she was a later high school student, she started crying and told me how her mom got her the book and one for her little sister and even one for herself, and that they all had it by their bedside. And they would reference it to one another about where they were on any given day within the contents of the book, and that it helped their family to grieve this really sudden, really scary, really sad time. And she says, "It's kind of funny I'm running into you because we just had another death this week." And she said, "My mom said, go get your book and read it to your little sister again." So I think that My Yellow Balloon really helps families have a language. It helps kids and grown-ups to be able to communicate and show where they're at, sometimes when words fail us. There's another story that comes to my mind that I want to share with you about how My Yellow Balloon helped someone on their grief journey. I met a little boy years and years ago who had the tragedy of losing his sister. And after the reading of My Yellow Balloon, he found me and he said, "I really like your book." And I said, "Oh, I'm so glad you like it." He says, "Yeah, I really like that it says it's okay to be sad." And I said, "Oh, it's always okay to be sad." And he says, "Yeah." He says, "I really like that you say it's okay to be happy too." And I think sometimes we feel bad for feeling happy. And I know that it helped him to know that that was okay. And it is okay to be sad, and it is okay to be happy. My favorite part of My Yellow Balloon is the dream page. And I love the dream page because I love the color on the dream page. I love that all of his dream, which is his universe, are all his toys, except the pink unicorn. When you see the pink unicorn, the way that got in there was I had a 4-year-old daughter that had to have a pink unicorn somewhere in the book. In fact, she wanted the whole entire book to be about the pink unicorn. But that's where the pink unicorn went. I love this page because if you haven't seen it and you don't know, the balloon man is there somewhere in the page and you have to find where he is. But I think the part about this page that I love the very, very most is that it's in his dream where Joey is reunited with his yellow balloon. And so many times when I've lost someone, I dream about them. And there's this moment in my dreams where we're together, even though we're physically apart. So I love the dream page because we're all together. My advice for children who are grieving is to know that you are not alone. It can seem like you're alone, especially when you're around a bunch of kids that don't seem to have lost anything. And I just want you to know that everyone has felt something and feels some pain and has or will lose someone or something very close to them. And so just know that you're not alone. Another thing I would want to share with you is that you will come through it. And I say this as a grieving child who became a grown-up. And you will. And it's hard to even imagine when you're in the middle of it all. It's hard to even comprehend how you can come through such pain. But I promise you will. And you'll be stronger for it. If you work with children, there is so much in My Yellow Balloon that you can use to help them. One of the things that I love is that My Yellow Balloon is not all sad, right? Life is not all sad. Life is just a myriad of different feelings. And they're all in here. There's excited and happy and scared and angry and frustrated and sad and really, really down. And one of the ways that I do that and show that is in color. And so the beginning of the book is all in this just beautiful, beautiful color. And, you know, life just happens, right? You get up, you brush your teeth, you go to work, you go to school, and every day we turn a new page, and every day another thing happens. And then when loss occurs, there's this black page, and it says, then one day, in 1 second, everything changed. And it really is, in 1 second, everything changes. And when that happens, the book does something really interesting. And it no longer goes the same direction because loss is completely disorienting. And not only is loss completely disorienting, it unfolds. And there's this helplessness that comes inside of us of we can't help it. There's this amazing 4-page gatefold that's so long, and I can't even show it here really, but this is a terrifying moment for all of us, but especially for kids who have very little scar tissue. So I have found this page to be really remarkable in working with kids because they are able to articulate that moment and that feeling that often is really hard to articulate. Today, on Children's Grief Awareness Day, I just want to remind you all that you are going to come through this. Whatever pain, whatever hurt, whatever you're grieving, you're going to rise up and you're going to be strong and get through it. Even on the days when you don't feel so strong. Just know that you are cared about and you are loved. I always have this thing for myself where I'm always like, I'm still standing. Whatever hard thing comes into my life, that is my mantra. I'm still standing. And we're going to be standing right beside you every step of the way. At the back of My Yellow Balloon, you will find the balloon man holding this big bouquet of balloons. And there are some that are floating away, and you will notice that there are names on those balloons. The reason for that is because it took me such a long time to publish My Yellow Balloon, since I wrote it when I was 14, that there were so many people that had touched me and inspired the story along its journey, and I wanted to somehow thank all of them. So these are all of the people who have touched and inspired My Yellow Balloon, and the ones that are flying away are no longer with us anymore. And this page is the inspiration for the activity that I get to do with you today. And the activity we're going to do is the My Yellow Balloon Memorial Art Activity. And just like in the back of My Yellow Balloon, you get to color this balloon for the person in your life that you have lost. So, what colors are you going to use? Are you going to use colored pencils or magic markers or crayons? It's all up to you. The one thing I would say is that colors mean something. Colors represent something. And so think about, is it a color that makes you think of them? Is it their favorite color? Is it your favorite color? Is it a color that had something to do with a memory that you had of them? So pick your color or colors carefully, and then you're going to put their name right in the middle. And maybe there's more than one person, and you can put many people on it. Just make it whatever way you want to do it. And I'm going to start mine right now. Here it is, guys. This is mine. And of course I had to use yellow, right? And these are the names of the people that I want to honor today. And I cannot wait to see what you did, what you came up with, what colors you used, and how you put it together. Please take a picture and enter to win your signed copy of My Yellow Balloon. I cannot wait to see what you came up with. Thank you, kids, for being with me today. Thank you, parents. Thank you, Highmark Caring Place, for starting Children's Grief Awareness Day and bringing awareness to the world. It is so needed. I cannot think of anywhere I'd rather be on Children's Grief Awareness Day than with you.